And so, because you're useful, once you're a public figure, you see they can use you.
No, they told me you'll be a big national talk show host who's young, like Limbaugh. You'll be on TV. I was described Glenn Beck's job before he even had a political show. 3 separate times by different groups. Yep. I mean, they were looking for the new Glenn Beck.
Well, yeah, and it's in the Council on Foreign Relations' own reports. I have them here, where a few years ago, I kept them all, where they've said that they'd had to take on board more celebrity figures in the culture, actors, even talk show hosts, and bring them on board because the public will follow them like sheep, you see. And they did. They recruited quite a few from Hollywood now to lead their fans along this new way of thinking of globalism, internationalism, and of course the people are already going along with them. Whatever they say, they'll start parting it too.
And notice they take people like Charlie Rose, and he's got ABC shows, he's got PBS shows, and he's one of the few journalists allowed into Bilderberg. Let's go back to Jessica. Jessica, does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. And I'd also just like to say that I notice how you often make reference to historical events, and I think that's really important in giving people context for what's going on now. And I was hoping that you would consider having a contest for writers in addition to your contest for reporters so that people like me have a platform to submit the things that we write about and the research that we do.
Well, number one, anybody can submit stuff to writers@infowars.com. And from your blog or whatever, and we'll post it with a link, at the top to your blog, if we can read over it and find that we, think it's accurate information. So you can write for Infowars.com. I mean, I don't do what other people do, is go through all the other sites and try to take people's contributors. Sometimes sites that want us to post their stuff later say don't post it. Then I watch their Alexa rating drop, because they think that, being on our site actually takes traffic when it actually gives them traffic. But all we care about is getting the info out. So if you'd like to write stories for us, go ahead. But a on-staff writer job would be good. We just have the limited capital in the final equation. If I can pay my people a living wage and try to give them bonuses so they can be comfortable in their work, I can't hire that many more people, but we're working on it. Thank you so much. Let's jam in some other calls now quickly. Judy in Florida, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hey, this is a dream phone call for me. I've actually spoken with both of you gentlemen, and it's an honor to speak with you now. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Good. What I've been thinking while I've been listening to you, and just what I consider a lot, is that we're in a time right now where I think there's going to probably be probably fairly soon some type of false flag, and I hope I'm wrong, but it seems as though there's 2 paths. It's either the acceleration is occurring because, as I've heard Alan say, the globalists are right on course, or they could be just as fearful as they're trying to make us. And I was wondering what your thoughts are, both of you, on whether or not, if there was a day when everyone, including those of means, those in Hollywood that have consciences, people, I mean, there's organizations that I work with.
Sure, a day that we do what?
In order to internationally show a not just a disdain, but to, go to government places and say, we want individuals removed, we want this to happen now, and to show this peaceful force of people that will be...
Sure. Here's the deal. Like shark teeth, and I appreciate your call, another row of teeth will roll up. You've got to expose the entire false system, or they'll just replace it with new puppets. You've got to have a full awakening. And Brzezinski did say a few years ago that humanity's waking up politically for the first time in history to the man behind the throne. And in that is the victory, in realizing you're in a manipulated scientific dictatorship. In that... I'm not saying it's a bad idea just to go have a day, but we need not an anti-corporate day or an anti-whatever day, an anti-scientific dictatorship day. Alan?
You do, but you also have to also write about and get into how many non-governmental organizations are attached to every government across the world. The same ones, by the way, by the same foundations, who help make policy for governments to run. Remember, divide and conquer was the initial way of the communist system, and under different names, the same system, same guys, same people, pushing the same stuff. And they've got so much divisiveness in society now. Rights of the child means no rights of the parents. They've got men and women as a couple almost eliminated. And of course, they really want...
Yeah, you want to defeat the New World Order, get families back, get humanity back. That's how you defeat the New World Order.
Literally wipe out. I mean, get rid of. Just expel them all. All these governmental organizations that now are appointees to governments across the world are the same ones. And the ones that cause the divisiveness, etc., and who know the agenda and know their part in it, and who get legislation on the books. You don't elect them in, and therefore they shouldn't be there at all. You're right. The unelected boards, the NGOs, the shadow government, kick it out. Identify the shadow government, the parasited legitimate system, kick it out. Get rid of the Federal Reserve, get rid of it all. Great points. Richard in Canada. Richard, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hi, guys. I just wanted to say, growing up in this little town I live in Canada, four main pedophiles. One was a cop, not to put down police officers because, bad apple. One was a priest. One was a teacher. And the fourth one was a high-ranking member of the Mormon Church. And the other thing I want to point out is now I'm 40 years old, and we tend to look at pedophiles as being an old man, but I'm of that generation now. I'm of that age group where look at Miley Cyrus and Billy Ray and the half-naked pictures of them on television and this sort of thing. And I don't know, maybe I'm not making a lot of sense, but I'm seeing the demise of our society, and the pedophilia thing seems to... Look,
it's just like Rome. It's just like the Aztecs. We are a society in deep, deep decadence.
We understand, too.
And it seems like it's organized.
Sure. Go ahead, Alan.
Here's the kicker for this one. They want to do away with the name pedophilia altogether. The World Health Organization, the United Nations has said this. And the International Department of Censors that their meetings every year for...
NAMBLA is an NGO, exactly. They love NAMBLA. They love it.
Well, they actually say that they want to do away... Two professors said at the same time, same script actually, Canada and the States at the last censor meeting for television internationally that they had. They said now that we've won the rights for homosexuality, we must now go into removing pedophilia from the books and introducing animal human sex.
And bestiality. That was in one of the bills they passed, that the troops can have sex with animals on base, yeah.
United Nations and professors at universities, etc. Because you understand, everything that they introduce this way causes an opposite reaction. That there's chaos in different new areas now. And then the government steps in with even more authority, new bureaucracies to deal with all that.
And before you know it...
There's no family at all.
Exactly. And before you know it, you're a pedophobe. You're a bad person because you don't want them grabbing your 5-year-old.
Yeah, that's right. So that's the whole thing. Government wants to run everybody's life from cradle to grave. And so the more chaos they can introduce by the legislation, the better for them. And now they've got to even... someone sent me a disc. I don't watch television, so they sent me a disc from what's showing in Britain. And they're showing you 12-year, 13-year-old girls with guys in their 50s, 60s, and how much...
And parties eating fetuses.
Yes, that too. So you're being totally degraded and degenerated until you cannot take care of yourself or your own. That's the whole purpose of this. It's a war.
And then just like in one of the old books, the Bible, is it Genesis, where they're in Sodom and Gomorrah and the guys come to the door and bang on it and say, give us your kids.
Yeah, give your and your boys. I mean, it was really the boys that were after. And of course he offered his wife to them. They didn't want the wife. They want.
That's right. He's like, here's my wife. And they're like, no, we want your little kids. Yeah. They want to wreck the innocence. It's always the legion vanguard of the New World Order for thousands of years is pot-bellied men coming for your children, and that's the TSA. Mm-hmm. I mean, this is a planet pedophile ruled by pedophiles with nuclear weapons.
Yes, and as I say, they've already stripped almost all the rights of the parents away, if there's a parent at all. and then of course they're given the rights to the child with the intention that the child can then make their own decision if they're going to have sex with this old geezer. I mean, that's really what it is. And they've actually used that already. Well,
that's why they're saying they're going to inoculate kids and have abortions if the 10-year-old says they want it. Again, and they say it's their consent. I mean, and they say they're going to start killing children up to age 3. We haven't talked about that. Alan Watt, incredible having you on with us today. I want to thank Alan Watt of CutIntoTheMatrix.com for joining us. I'm Alex Jones of Infowars.com and Prisonplanet.tv. I'll be doing the news tonight with some breaking information. Has Watson gotten the article up yet at Infowars.com about secret TSA agents on the streets of America? Of course, we'd already told you this years ago because it's not secret in the funding, but now Congress has admitted it. I don't know if that's up yet because I know Watson is on the job, so look for that. Here is Ted Nugent. I'm going to try to bleep out where he says they're wiping the Constitution, on their you-know-what. But everything he says is true. He says the administration are criminals. I admire his courage. It's in the Wall Street Journal. It's up on the Drudge Report, also at Infowars.com. You want to watch it if you're a radio listener. But then he says Mitt Romney's going to save us. Mitt Romney was bought and paid for by the same banks, carbon taxes, gun control, open borders, wrote health care. I hear callers going, I want Obama out because of health care. I would love to believe Mitt Romney was going to fix things. And I guess he might be better than Obama, but the same elite is behind him. It's who backs them. And the fruit of him being governor and everything. All these horrible droppings he leaves. Let's go to Ted Nugent. Here it is.
And if you can't get a couple of hundred people each of you, some of you, I bet you can get a couple thousand. Your goal should be able to get a couple of thousand people per person who's here to vote for Mitt Romney in November. If you don't know that our government is wiping its with the Constitution, you're living under a rock someplace. And that there's a dead soldier, an airman, a Marine, a seaman, a hero of the military that just got his legs blown off for the U.S. Constitution. And we got a president and attorney general who doesn't even like the Constitution. We got 4 Supreme Court justices who don't believe in the Constitution.
That's true.
Does everybody know here that 4 of the Supreme Court justices not only determined you don't have the right to keep and bear arms, 4 Supreme Court justices signed their name to a declaration that Americans have no fundamental right to self-defense. That sounds like a stoned hippie. That doesn't sound like a Supreme Court anything. It sounds like a supremely intellectually vacuous punk. To think that a human could think that humans don't have a basic right to self-defense is so bizarre to me as to my brain can't accept the information. And if you want more of those kinds of evil, anti-American people in the Supreme Court, then don't get involved and let Obama take office again. Because I'll tell you this right now, if Barack Obama becomes the president in November again, I will either be dead or in jail by this time next year. Being at the NRA event, God bless you, good indicator. But if you can't go home and get everybody in your lives to clean house in this vile, evil, America-hating administration, I don't even know what you're made out of. If you can't galvanize and promote and recruit people to vote for Mitt Romney, we're done. We'll be a suburb of Indonesia next year. Our president and attorney general, our vice president, Hillary Clinton, they're criminals. They're criminals. And if you take
that's
that
enough.
adamant...
Yeah, but so was George Bush in those wars. They're not getting their legs blown off for freedom. They're getting them blown off for opium and world government. And that's my point. How can you recognize tyranny under Obama, but not under Bush? That's the point. That's the problem.
Thank you for
Ted
listening to GCN.
Nugent.
Visit GCN.
Come on, come all the way.
Today.